Turn up your frequency with love, self-care, and bite-sized brain hacks for the seeker in you. It's time to give your mind a little love with your host, Beverley J. Miller. Welcome to the Soulful Self-Care podcast, where we explore holistic well-being and personal growth, offering you practical tips and heartful insights. Join our community and start your journey towards a more soulful self-care in you. Subscribe today because taking care of yourself is the first step to taking care of others. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Soulful Self-Care, where we explore the paths to a more fulfilling and joyful life. I'm your host, Beverley J. Miller, and today we're looking into a topic that's close to my heart. That's how to embrace imperfections and find beauty in flaws. You see, in a society that often celebrates imperfection and flawless achievements, it's easy to forget that our imperfections make us unique and beautiful. That mole on your face makes you unique and beautiful. The shape of your nose makes you unique and beautiful. That gap between your teeth makes you unique and beautiful. The way you style your hair, the way you smile, the way you walk makes you unique and beautiful. So today in this episode, we're going to explore the importance of embracing our flaws. Flaws as people sees them, but as we see them, they are unique and beautiful. We're going to share practical strategies to help you love yourself as you are and include some personal stories. You know, I always have a personal story. And we're going to share some examples to guide you on this journey. So I'm excited about this topic. So let's begin. Let's start by understanding what we mean by imperfection. Imperfection is the state of being flawed or incomplete, and it's an inherent part of the human experience. None of us are perfect, and that's okay. It's our imperfections that make us unique and human. So embracing imperfection is crucial because it allows us to live more authentically. You see, when we accept ourselves as we are, we stop wasting time and energy trying to meet someone else's unrealistic standards, and we start focusing on what truly matters. This shift can lead to greater self-acceptance, improved mental health, and stronger relationships. You see, everyone deals with imperfection, whether they are physical, emotional, or behavioral. These imperfections, my beautiful soul, shape our experiences and make us who we are. So let's explore some of these common imperfections that we face. Now, we said that everyone deals with imperfections. So let's clarify some of the common imperfections people deal with. And let's start with physical imperfections. So that could be a concern about weight, height, body shape, or skin conditions, aging signs, and disabilities. For emotional and mental imperfections, that's anxiety, depression, self-doubt, mood swings, and overthinking. For behavioral imperfections, that can be procrastination, perfectionism, impulsiveness, bad habits, and lack of discipline. Social and relational imperfections are communication issues, conflict avoidance, trust issues, social anxiety, and loneliness. Professional and academic imperfections is a lack of experience, work-life balance struggles, career setbacks, study habits, and public speaking fears. Personal development imperfections is a lack of motivation, fear of failure, negative self-talk, impatience, and resistance to change. And finally, interpersonal imperfections are dealing with jealousy, grudges, selfishness, inflexibility, and lack of empathy. These imperfections are part of our everyday lives, and acknowledging them is the first step towards embracing them. Now let's talk about the pressure to be perfect. Perfectionism is the need to appear perfect and to avoid making mistakes at all costs. While striving for excellence can be motivating, perfectionism is often counterproductive. It can lead to anxiety, depression, and burnout. Remember those common imperfections we just discussed? Perfectionism often makes those issues worse. We strive for an unattainable ideal, why we end up feeling more anxious and less satisfied with ourselves. Perfectionism is fueled by societal expectations, social media, and or inner critic. We tend to compare ourselves to others and feel that we fall short. But it's essential to remember that social media often showcases only the highlights of people's lives, not their struggles or their imperfections. Now let's dive into some practical strategies to help embrace imperfections. First is to practice self-compassion. That's to treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend. So when you make a mistake, remind yourself that it's part of being human. Self-compassion is recognizing your common humanity, being mindful of your emotions, and most of all, being kind to yourself. So, if you struggle with anxiety or self doubt, practicing self compassion can be incredibly helpful. So, instead of beating yourself up for feeling anxious, acknowledge it and then treat yourself with kindness. Next is to set realistic goals. Instead of aiming for perfection, set achievable goals. Remember that acronym SMART for setting goals? Break the tasks into smaller, manageable steps and celebrate your progress along the way. If you're dealing with procrastination or a lack of discipline, setting realistic goals can make a big difference. So start small and build up your confidence. Next, challenge those negative thoughts. When your inner critic starts to speak, challenge those thoughts and ask yourself if they are realistic or if you're being too hard on yourself. Then replace the negative self talk with positive affirmations. So, if you're prone to negative self talk, this strategy can help you refrain your thoughts and develop a more positive mindset. Next is to embrace vulnerability. You see, being open about your imperfections can be incredibly freeing. So share your struggles with a trusted friend or a family member. You'll be surprised that you'll likely find that they can relate and offer support. Trust issues and social anxiety can be alleviated by embracing vulnerability and building genuine connections with others. Next, focus on growth. Shift your mindset from perfection to growth. Embrace a learning mindset where mistakes are seen as opportunities to improve and grow. For those who fear failure, focusing on growth can transform how you approach challenges. Remember, each setback becomes a chance to learn and evolve. Here's my story. Growing up, I was always striving for perfect grades and flawless performances in everything I did. This pressure led to immense stress and anxiety. It wasn't until I experienced a significant failure that I began to understand the importance of embracing imperfection. I realized that failure wasn't the end, it was only a stepping stone to greater self awareness and resilience. By sharing my vulnerabilities and imperfections with others, I found deeper connections and a more profound sense of self acceptance. But my story is just one example. What I would like you to do is to think about the imperfections we discussed earlier. How many of them can you relate to? And how can embracing these flaws lead to a more fulfilling life? Another example that comes to mind comes from a dear friend who struggled with imperfection in her career. She was constantly stressed, fearing that any mistake would ruin her reputation. Through therapy and self-reflection, she learned to set boundaries and practice self-compassion. Today, she is much happier and more successful, not because she's perfect, but because she's authentic and resilient. You may be asking yourself, how can there be beauty in imperfection? You see, embracing imperfection allows us to see the beauty in our flaws. Our imperfections tell a story of who we are, where we've been, and what we've overcome. They make us relatable and human. You see, when we embrace our imperfections, we can build stronger connections. Authenticity fosters deeper and more meaningful relationships. When we are open about our imperfections, we allow others to connect with us on a genuine level. By embracing our imperfections, it enhances our creativity. You see, perfectionism stifles creativity. And when we let go of the need to be perfect, we open ourselves up to new ideas and possibilities. Embracing our imperfection increases happiness. You see, accepting of our imperfections leads to greater contentment and happiness. We stop striving for an unattainable ideal and start appreciating ourselves as we are. I encourage you to reflect on the common imperfections we discussed. How can you see the beauty in these flaws? How can you embrace them to enhance your life? Remember, embracing imperfection is a journey, not a destination. So be patient with yourself and celebrate the progress you make along the way. Thank you for joining me today on Soulful Self-Care. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a comment and share it with someone who might benefit from these insights. Until next time, take care and keep nurturing your soul.